We all suffer from Parkinson's law. It's part of the human condition. Without applied pressure, we will always drift down the stream of the least resistance or the path of ease. To access our greater capability, you have to push it out of yourself. You actually have to purposely apply pressure and stress on yourself to activate your superhuman abilities. So you've probably heard the adage that if you want something done, give it to a busy person, right? Well, while I had heard that before, I never really understood it until I saw it firsthand. Who are arguably the most busy people on the planet? Of all the crazy busy people there are, who are ceaselessly on the clock 24/7 doing maybe the most important job in the world? If you said mothers to newborns, you are right. But I never knew that until Mariana. Mariana was my audio producer back at Success, and she and I had worked closely as we lined up and planned for and performed and edited and produced and packaged and fulfilled each month's inserted CD. It was a massive project, and Mariana was always organized, efficient, and hyper-productive. I said was because then Mariana had her first baby. While I was thrilled for her and the exquisite creature that was baby Rose, in all candor, just between you and me now, I was a little worried that I wouldn't have the same Mariana my life so depended on post Rose's grand debut. I was afraid Mariana would be different. And let's face it, no woman who becomes a mother remains unchanged. And I was right. Mariana was different, but not in the way that I had expected. Mariana came back to work and was somehow even more productive and efficient than the before Rose era, if you could believe that. Somehow, some way, for her being crowned Queen Mother, it gave her some sort of magical superpower of productivity. As I watched her complete tasks with unprecedented speed and accuracy, I couldn't help but ask, "What's going on here? How are you doing all of this?" She simply replied, "Because I have to." And there is the big lesson. You see, we seldom do what we want to do. Oh, sure, we want to be more productive. We want to lose some weight. We want to make more money. But wants are not that motivating, actually. But when you turn your want tos into have tos, you access some part of your superhuman strength that lay dormant in most of us, but we see activated to heroic proportions around us all the time. So who are those superhuman productivity heroes? Yep, we call them mothers, the mysterious and awe-inspiring creature that manages to and magically and miraculously get it all done. We, and by we, I mean us men, myself included, only wish we had their ability to be as uber productive with only having gotten 3 hours of sleep. I might joke, but the frank truth is women with kids can be, and most often are, more productive than the rest of us, not less. In 0 to 60 seconds, Mariana goes from mom to uber producer, buzzing around the house and home office, super focused and ultra productive. She swore that she never had more focus than she did after Rose arrived. She was able to hone in on the priorities when it comes to both her work and her home life. She said she got done in one nap time, or in the 45 minutes that daddy can entertain baby Rose on his own, what used to take all day long. Mariana also confessed that her distraction sins of the past were no longer. She said, "Who has time to check Facebook or Instagram all day when there are other things that require my attention before the baby wakes again?" When Rose arrived, she booted procrastination to the curb. She said, "There simply wasn't time to waste. I just jump in and do what needs to be done now before I hear the little bobcat cry on the baby monitor." So Mariana, a new mom to her baby girl, Rose, what she did first was conquer one of the greatest enemies to superheroes, sort of the Lex Luthor of supervillains to your productivity. In the civilian world, this is known as Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law states that whatever amount of time you have to complete a project, it will take all that available time for it to be completed. Meaning, if you give yourself a week to complete a 2-hour task, then miraculously, the task will increase in complexity and become more daunting so as to fill that entire week. It may not even fill all the extra time with more work, but it will suck the productivity life out of you and just give you added stress and tension that you will carry along just getting that task done throughout the week. Let's say that you wake up and on your to-do list is make 2 client calls, fill out your expense report, pick up the laundry, and mail a package at the post office. If that's all you have scheduled for the day, oddly enough, it will take all day to do those 4 simple tasks. Have you noticed that? But if it is the day before you leave for a 2-week vacation and you have 30 items that you need to complete in the same day, miraculously, again, you will get them all done in the same time span of the day. Parkinson's law destroys the burgeoning productivity superpowers that we all possess. People don't become fully aware of how quickly some tasks can be completed until they test this principle by having to, because of some urgent and impending deadline, like leaving for a vacation, or in Mariana's case, before baby Rose wakes up. When Ernest Hemingway was asked how to write a novel, he replied, "Well, the first thing you do is clean out the refrigerator." What he meant by that was writers will do just about anything to avoid putting words onto a page. You'd be surprised what you could catch yourself doing to fill great vast voids of time to procrastinate on those things that you find challenging or difficult. To the working mother, there's no time for whining or excuses. You have more important things to attend to. Time collapses and you get an amazing amount of things done in a short period of time. And that is the second part of what powered Mariana 2.0 and all the millions of mothers out there across the globe. They have a clear, compelling, living and breathing reason why staring right back at them, complete with cute little spit bubbles forming on their perfect lips. As Mariana said, I want to be there for my daughter every second I can. I don't want to have to say, "Oh, sorry, sweetie, mommy can't hold you right now because she couldn't get all of her work done when you were sleeping." Nope, no excuses. You see, the best way to focus yourself and beat procrastination's arch enemy is to have purpose, to have an important end to your means. It's amazing how quickly all those things that used to be important, that used to take up tremendous amounts of your time, energy, quickly fall by the wayside when you have something truly important that you're all in for. For Mariana, it was her beautiful new baby girl. But let's think about this for a minute. What is your baby? Do you even have one? Or are you mindlessly and dispassionately slogging through your day, just getting stuff done without knowing why? We should all have a baby to work for in our lives, metaphorically speaking, at least. I am not suggesting that anyone needs to go out and get pregnant after our session here. Now, Mariana did confess that not everything about being a mom equals uber productivity. She did say with exasperation, I mean, have you tried typing an email with one hand with a screaming baby in the other? It's not that you can't type, it's just that you can't even think either. But it's over the long haul where you see the impact. For Mariana, having a baby wasn't just a blessing, it was a lesson in focus, efficiency, and multiplied productivity in compressed time. By the way, this wasn't just Mariana. I saw this whole scenario play out again when our beloved A-Team member Kylie had her first child, the dashing ginger-haired Ledger. Watching her productive output while attending to her new prodigy was remarkable. Everyone else on the team marveled and wondered how she was doing it all, and so well, in fact, and with such amazing attitude and spirit. It was after Ledger that the team nicknamed her Wonder Woman. We all suffer from Parkinson's law. It's part of the human condition. Without applied pressure, we will always drift down the stream of the least resistance or the path of ease. To access our greater capability, you have to push it out of yourself. You actually have to purposely apply pressure and stress on yourself to activate your superhuman abilities. The first thing to understand is that pressure and stress are your friends and your high-performance allies. This is something that low achievers don't understand. Stress is a stimulus for growth, for development, and for progress. Great performers welcome it. They want it. Actually, they thrive on it. They know that pressure occurs when meaningful accomplishment is possible. Look, humans are not designed to cope with stress, but to thrive on it. It's the psychological stimulant that fuels our daily performances to great heights. The human body performs at higher levels when stimulated by pressure and stress. Stress and pressure is the doorway to greater success. And then on the opposite side, the absence of stress or feeling pressure is a sure sign of boredom, lack of interest, and importance in what it is that you're doing. The only time that high performers are worried is when their heart isn't racing. As what one of the most feared pitchers spanning over 4 decades in the history of Major League Baseball, Nolan Ryan, would say, "The day that I am not nervous stepping onto that mound, that's the day I quit." Bill Russell is widely considered one of the best players in NBA history, a 5-time NBA Most Valuable Player, 12-time All-Star. Russell was the centerpiece of the Celtics dynasty, winning 11 NBA championships during his 13-year career. Russell holds the record for the most championships won by an athlete in a North American sports league of any kind. Bill was notorious for throwing up before every game. But after the Celtics won their 7th straight championship, and before a game in the late 1963-1964 season, Bill didn't throw up before the game. And he had the worst game of his career. And he and the Celtics began to spiral in losses. He didn't know what was wrong. But when Bill pulled up to the arena before Game 1 of the playoffs, he saw an excited and eager line of fans lining the arena waiting to get in. That is when the pressure set in on Bill. He rushed into the arena, blowing past all of his teammates, straight to the locker room, bathroom stall, and he puked. And then he burst out of the stall, came into the dressing room, shouting to his teammates, "Guys, we're gonna win!" Bill, right then and there, made the connection between pressure and winning. They did win that game, and they went on to win their 8th straight championship. Look, stress is different than distress. Pressure is different than anxiety. And nervousness is different than worry. But unless you learn to love pressure and perceive stress as an advantage, you are unlikely to join the ranks of high performers. Use pressure and stress to draw out your greater performance and potential. Thus, unless you're on the 18th green of the Masters every day, or up to bat with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th at the World Series, or in the final drive to the end zone with the Lombardi Trophy on the line, you are likely to need to create or force pressure on yourself to activate your stress response superpowers. You do this by creating what we call Genesis deadlines, which is how Connie referred to them. Connie's the 94-year-old multi-billionaire who taught me the Sunday planning system that I now use to run my business and run my life. Connie said this to me: "Look, God created heaven and earth in 6 days, I think, to set an example. He was showing us all what could be achieved in only a week. If he created all of creation in 6 days, what should we expect of ourselves? I think a lot more." Connie went on to say, "That is why I always set unreasonable deadlines. Every forecast, pro forma, and projection timeline that I am sent, I cut the deadline in half, often by 3/4. I tell my staff that we're going to move heaven and earth to get it done. This pressure requires us to focus even more, to step up, to grow, to be better than we've ever been. And guess what? By some miracle, we always do. It's quite incredible," he said, "but we wouldn't have if we hadn't shortened the deadline of the goal." That's how Connie stamps out the Parkinson's law in himself and inside his companies. Connie went on to explain, if God had given himself 1 billion years to create all of heaven and earth, it probably would have taken that long, but he only gave himself a week, and that's how long it took. We too have that kind of creative power, but we don't apply enough pressure on our talents and creative power to realize it. If you haven't heard the full story of Connie and how the Sunday planning system works, I highly recommend that you check it out. I'll make sure that there's a link below today's session. It's a free tutorial, a gift from me to you. So, how do you use pressure for positive outcomes in your own life? I want you to share that with us in the comments below. Am I boring you? Big yawn. Okay. You're kind of like Mr. Rogers. taking off your sweater, putting on your sweater.
I can't decide.
Do you guys even know who Mr. Rogers is?
Yes.
Oh, 2 out of 3 is pretty good. Here. One.
I'm just giving you more of a that's a pretty one for me.